Welcome back to Buckeye Country Creations. In today's project, we're going to do a little home upgrade to make our house appear more homey and feel more homey. But first, we're going to grab some breakfast and then we'll jump right in to the home improvement. So grab you a drink and come on along. Let's get this thing done. Okay, well now that we've got breakfast done, we're going to move into the living room and we're going to start on this faux beam project that I'm going to do here. And we're going to start by taking down those beams and seeing if the texture is there so that we can leave those down, and maybe all we have to do is texture the nail holes or screw holes. So let's move over to the living room and get that started. Okay, so this is what my ceiling looks like before. It's got these faux beams, which are really just only 2x6 boards, which I don't really like. So I'm going to take them down and then I'm going to do a faux beam across this way. So we're going to get these down and hopefully there's texture underneath like this. And so that all I have to do is spackle the screw holes. So let's get up there and get them down. Okay, I got my handy dandy drill. We're gonna get up here and see what it looks like when we get done taking it down. Gonna be the holes. Okay. So this is good because we have texture and then we just have screw holes. That's a good thing. So now, because I had to get that out of the way in order to do the faux beam going this way. So that's good. Now I'm going to get the rest of these down and we'll be good to go. I must admit, when I moved over to this bigger beam, I was really worried about being able to hold it up because the first beam that I took down, or first board that I took down, was only about half the size of this. And if you've ever held a 2x6 board, they can be pretty heavy. And if you've ever watched any of my other videos, you know I do not have any upper body strength at all. None. So I was kind of worried. I thought, oh, if this thing falls on my head, I'm going to be in trouble. But the hubby was out working on his car, and I didn't really want to bother him because I was going to need him later on in this project. But as you can see, I took the screws down on the ends and then worked in the middle, and that made it easier for me to get it down. So I was able to finally get this one board down without knocking myself out. So I'm pretty proud that I was able to get that down by myself. But it was a little heavy though, I'll have to say. All right. That one's down. So now here's what it looks like with no
none of those in it. So I just got to get that one down. But as you can see, I've only got just a few holes to spackle, little bitty holes. That won't take hardly anything. And luckily, when they installed my mobile home, they left stuff to fix that with. So I'm good to go. I'm so happy to see all this texture behind here. So let's get that one down. So now I'm going to move over so I can catch this as it comes down. Okay. See, they don't have these angles straight. And there's that one. And you can see where they missed a couple of times. So, but that's okay, because they're just small screw holes. So a little bit spackling, it'd be okay. Now for that one. I'm okay. I promise I'm okay. Let me just take this down. The curtain on. Easy. So now comes this one. Okay, so now comes the last one. Oops, I'm too far down. Bessie, cooperate. Woo! That was close. Okay. They're all down. So now this is it after all those are down. I think it makes my living room look so much, makes the ceiling feel so much taller. I love it. And we're going to be replacing this cheap mobile home trim with some different trim, and this will eventually get replaced too, but I am loving this. I think it looks so much better. So the next step is to go to Lowe's and get the 1x4s or the 1x3s that I need for this, because this is the same board that I just took down, but it's going to be the foundation for my faux beam. So I'm going to leave that up there. Okay, well, as you can see, it's a different day, have different clothes. I
Was able to get to Lowe's last night to get my boards to make the faux beam. So now I've got my thing set up, which you can't really see it. Let me, a makeshift workstation here. Got my tarp down. I'm going to take my hammer and I'm going to distress these boards a little bit because I want them to be distressed. I want them to have that distressed look. So you can use a hammer, you can use a screwdriver, you can use whatever, but I just put some different because I don't want them to look like brand new boards. So I've done quite a bit of that on all the boards. I'm going to show you. So as you can see, that's kind of what the distressing looks like. So these will hold pockets of stain. It'll be darker in these areas. And I'll beat down these really sharp corners after I get them together. So let's get some stain on this and see what it looks like. This is the stain that I'm using. Classic dark walnut. I have my staining sponges and my gloves. So let's get going. Well, as you can see, I used my garden shovel to open my varnish because I didn't want to have to go and locate a screwdriver or a can opener or whatever. So I just used what I had to loosen up the lid on my stain after I shook it really well because I wanted to make sure it was mixed really well. But you know, you use what you have, makes your job easier. So now I've got this open, so I'm going to get my pad and I'm just going to dip the staining pad down into the stain and I'm going to rub the stain onto the boards. I got my staining pads at Harbor Freight because they're cheaper at Harbor Freight than they are at Lowe's. So we're just going to get some stain put on this board, and I will do multiple coats because I like the dark stained look. I like the dark. I don't like to put it on and then wipe it off. I just put it on, leave it on, let it penetrate, and then you have to wait 2 hours after the first coat before you can go in and put on a second coat. So I'm going to get all these boards stained and get them set over and wait for them to dry, and then we'll start on the second coat. So I'll do my initial coats, let them dry, and then if I want a darker coat, then I'll go back and go over it again. Just making sure to rub in the divots where I did the distressing because I want to make sure they get lots of stain. I'm going to try to get the sides. I'm not going to do the underneath because this underneath under here is going to be under the, on the inside of the beam, so you won't see it. So I'm going to set this one aside, get the rest of them done, and then we'll move on. This is the first coat of stain. So now I have to let this dry for 2 hours, and then I can put a second coat on it to make it even darker. As you can see, I gotta get some more stain in that there, but the aging places take more stain, which makes it look older. So now I just gotta set a timer for 2 hours and wait. This is with 2 coats, and it's wet.
I know. I like all of it. It's tricks.
Yeah, it doesn't look like brand new wood, does it?
Okay, so I went in and added extra long screws to the studs all the way down these boards to make sure that it has plenty of support. Made sure they're screwed into the studs, because there was only like 1 screw per section, and I wanted to make sure it was good and secure. So now we're going to get our boards measured, and I've measured from here to here, and I'm going to take that and cut it in half, because I got 8-foot boards, so that my seam will be right in the middle like that seam is. But you will not see the seam in my beam, because my husband is making me a metal bracket that will go over that, a black metal bracket.
All right, so we moved out onto the front porch so that I could get the boards cut. We measured them and marked them. And so this is my first opportunity to use my new Craftsman saw that my husband got me for Mother's Day. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, I was struggling using this saw because, as you know, I have absolutely no upper body strength whatsoever. And trying to hold the board and hold this saw and keep it on the line was a real struggle for me. But I cut a couple of boards. But let me tell you what, I was wishing that I had gotten my miter saw out, because my miter saw just set it up and then I can cut my boards and my lines are straight. But anyway, I was definitely struggling to get these boards cut. And let me tell you what, by this time I was actually getting frustrated. I was upset with myself because I didn't have the strength to hold the saw. And I think my husband sensed that. And he's like, hey, just take a breath. Do you want me to cut them? And at this point I was like, yeah, here, you cut them, because I can't hold this saw. And so he was sweet enough. He took over and he cut the rest of the boards for me. So this is where my husband and I moved all of the boards inside, because it's 150 degrees outside. No, but it feels like it's 150 degrees outside. So we decided we would work inside in the air conditioning. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 boards, and we're basically going to make a U shape. You lay one of the boards face down, stain side down, and then you do the other 2 on each side, like my husband's putting them there. And then what we did was we took my nail gun and we nailed the boards together, and we ended up actually having to use some clamps because, unfortunately, I don't know what I was thinking when I did this, but I put my boards out in the sun to dry between the coats of stain, and it caused my boards to warp. So Here's some advice. Do not put your boards out in the sun to dry between coats of stain. Leave them under the shade, because I warped my boards. And so it was a bit of a struggle for us to try to get the boards unbowed, but we did manage to get them unbowed using clamps, like I said. And then we probably should have used some wood glue, but I actually forgot to get the wood glue when I went to Lowe's. But anyway, it still worked out. It still worked fine. So the next few minutes will be us working to get these put together and get them nailed. So we finally figured out the best way for us to do this was to do it in stages down the beam. So we clamped the far end down there, because we only had 2 clamps, and then we nailed it. And then we made sure that the bottom beam, or the bottom board, was flush with the 2 side boards on the bottom, because you want a smooth edge at the bottom of your beam so that it looks like a solid beam. So we just worked our way down the beam, moving our clamps as we went, which made me realize, Sonia, you need to buy more clamps when you're going to do projects. So we'll be buying more clamps. But anyway, we just worked our way down the beam as we went, making sure that it was flush and level. And it was a bit of a struggle, but we managed to get it done. And I'm not going to lie, at this point we were kind of doubting that we were going to get this to work, because as you can see down there on the right end, on Steve's side, you can see how bowed the boards were. But like I said, we just moved slowly down the beam. I nailed one side, and then I went around and nailed the other. Absolutely love my Craftsman nail gun. But that way it was secure, and we knew that once we were able to get the bow out, that it wasn't going to come undone. And so we managed to get it done. And you can see me, I was so happy because it was finally turning out. But I had my doubts, but we managed to make it work. So there's the first half of the beam. Now we got to get the second half put together and put up. We're almost done. Okay, so I went in this morning and did a few touch-ups. You can't really tell, I don't think, but
little bit of touch up there with the stain where it might have gotten scratched or something while we put it up. But, so I'm still waiting on my straps to come in to cover the seam right there, and then the straps will go on each end. So, but I'm already loving the way it looks. So much better than what was up there. And so now we just wait for the straps to come in, and they should be in tomorrow. Today's Tuesday, they should be in tomorrow. So here is the completed beam with the faux beam straps I got off of Amazon. Let me see if I can turn a little light on in here. Maybe it'll help a little bit. A little bit. Anyway. I absolutely love it. Oh yeah, you can see it better from this side. There are the faux beam straps. I did put a couple of nails at the top because there were a couple of reviews that said the adhesive kind of comes loose, but they're just, so you can see the nails at the top, but you can't unless you zoom in. But they're self-adhesive, and I absolutely love it. So that is our faux beam that covers the marriage line in our house. So there it is. So next I'm going to show you the receipts and show you exactly what it cost me. Okay, so here is the Lowe's receipt for the boards. And I bought the 1x6x8 white boards because they were better quality boards and not as heavy as the pine boards. And so I didn't want a lot of weight. So $87.41 for that. And then I bought, the only thing on this ticket that's mine are the $4.49 for the staining pads, the $7.99 for the gloves, and the $2.99 for the tarp. And then my straps, the faux beam straps from Amazon, were $12.99. So here are the beams, straps. I'll have these linked in the description box. So the total was $115.87, but if you take off the price of the tarp and the gloves, it would actually be less than that. I already had my stain. So there it is. My faux beam cost me less than $120, and I had actually priced the styrofoam faux wood beams, and they were $330 per 8 foot. So that would have cost me like almost $700, and I was not going to do that. So here we go. We got it what I wanted for less than $120. So I'm so happy and so tickled. It looks so much better than the 2x6 boards they had just stuck up there when we bought the home. But so there it is, and I want to say thank you so much for sticking around and being loyal subscribers. I know I've been not posting as much as possible, but life happens and you get busy with work and family and everything, but thank you so much for sticking with me today and watching me create this new upgrade in our house. So stay tuned for more videos. And thank you again so much for subscribing and watching my videos. It means more than you know to me because I couldn't do this without you. And remember what I always say, make sure you take time to go out and make memories with those that you love. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.